all too afraid. We're all too sheltered. We're all too ashamed. We're all too vulnerable.
When we were developing the biographical materials for this book, which were all taken out of this book pretty much, the one that's coming out in February, but we started out writing a lot of Jim's biography, and one of the things he reflected on to me was that
11,000 people and took hostage about 900, okay, and took them back to France. Now,
at dawn, seeing a flower die and come to life and die and come to life and go through these cycles, and experiencing that in real time, and Jim had to help kind of talk them down, and that generally you're not seeing a lot of tripping at kind of that level of interest and exploration anymore. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, but I tend to agree. And maybe it's just because I'm a lot older. I'm 64 now. I'm not 21 at a neo-pagan conference and meeting Tim, Larry, and Bill Eichmann on the same night on too many substances and almost dying from exposure. I'm in a different space than when I was 40 years ago. So maybe I don't have the kind of capacity or interest to really, kind of go out there as far. And I mean, of course, there are people who do. And
definitely a young man's game, dude. Don't get me wrong, George. I'm closing in on that 5-0, So, but I mean, like, literally, I'm okay with life as long as I have a vial of acid with me. I've had the same vial of acid for 4 years now. And, I've maybe microdosed off of it because I was at a show, but I really don't actually imbibe in it. Most of the time, I can just hold it in my damn hand and be okay because of that vibration, that crystal, and it's...
Do you think there's actually a resonance going on between the molecular structure of what you're holding in your hand that can activate your endogenous systems and create neuronal resonance and actually make that happen? I mean, Terrence used to say that in a dream, if you dream that you take anything, you could have the full-blown experience of taking that substance if you had it even once.
Right, like I tell people, like, all I really need to be around is people tripping, or I can even, like, just sitting here sometimes with you guys having intense conversations about my experiences in psychedelic usage can bring on a trip. I'm what they would probably consider back in the day perma-fried. I mean, is that a good thing or a bad thing? Don't know, don't really give a fuck. But, it's just kind of the way my reality is, I mean, and it's like, kind of like those times you're in a tunnel at a Dead show or in a tunnel on fucking just any place, my reality, and I see it as that, and I use the tricks that I learned when I was on acid, like high doses of acid, to get myself out of those states, to ground again, in such a fucking, like, trip, like, the amount of energy it takes to ground on that much LSD is phenomenal. And yeah, I do believe there is an intrinsic connection between me and this crystal, since it's imbibed my system since I was a very young man. And I definitely feel a connection to it. I definitely can just talk to other people about my experiences and experience it again. I can definitely, you can give me a fucking fake vial and
right, because when something gets frozen enough, you lose feeling.
And we understand. We're just trying to tell you, this is how we know Canadians can't live in America.
That's fine. But Canada is in America, so I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, it is. North America, but
it's more cold up there. Makes sense.
I still say with all of the Canadians and their dumb opinions, we should send all of our immigrants there.
Honestly, I would trade some of the Indians for a few, like, Venezuelans at this point.
We want you to keep your dumb Indians, your poop eating Punjab.
Why don't we send them to Mexico and have them fight the cartels for us?
Who, the
And then they can become American.
Indians are going to fight them?
Fight the cartels and you can become an American.
I like this idea. Like, so you get to the border, they're like, I claim asylum. You're like, great, okay, here's your enlistment papers.
It's what they did to the Irish.
Correct. So, hey, does anyone feel like Iris energy? A buddy called me who has been like one of these Silicon Valley around Bitcoin crypto very early, but never bought into the whole maximalist thesis that's taking over. And he called me today interested about different Bitcoin things and mining things, and he has some Iris call options. I don't know what you guys think about that one. I'm glad you got in touch with Lenses, bro.
Wait. Before we get off this topic, Dave, can you PTR your epidural finger?
No, it healed back fine. Like, when you burn the tip of your finger, like, it grows.
Okay, this is all joy. Princessia is here. Abby was saying, wouldn't it be funny if Princessia and Edmund end up falling in love? So, I've been listening to rooms all morning. I'm 100% convinced that people just come here to get high.
Edmund, what's going on?
Hey, what's up, Nick?
The trolling's been on point lately.
It's been on fire. I've come up with debate tactics which can't be defeated. For example, some people use vulgarity. I just like to say, hello?
Well, Edmund, I like when you do like the Tiffany Sotheby one. That's hilarious.
A trans social audio chatbot app performed by Edmund Dakin is very funny. I agree. What's up, Princessia? Oh, she left.
I was like, I noticed in like rooms I've been with you, I'm like, man, his trolling's been on point the last month.
Well, I've had many accounts clipped. I've had my YouTube accounts deleted. And it doesn't really matter because I wasn't making any money, so you can't lose what you don't have. But the fact that, I have essentially, I think I have used this app in a butterfly effect to help get Donald Trump elected. And I mean, obviously, I know it really didn't actually do anything, but on this app, I was able to like destroy people's narratives. But I have been secretly filming Elon Musk for, I don't know, maybe 6 months now. But you can go to my website where I post all my Elon Musk private conversations. It's called adriandittman.com. And adriandittman.com would not be possible if it wasn't for Roger Mayhem. Because if you go to rogermayhem.com, it goes to my deleted YouTube account. But because I was basically capturing a non-playable character, aka, a Comic-Con fake person named Roger Mayhem. Same thing with Adrian Dittman. Adrian Dittman is Elon Musk. And so I was on X Spaces one day and I heard this guy talking and I'm like, that's fucking Elon Musk. So I tweeted, this Adrian Dittman is Elon Musk's burner account, and he blocked me immediately. So I was like, that's very weird for somebody to block you, for somebody who doesn't like being said that he sounds like Elon. So it was a big giveaway, and then I was like, okay, this is definitely Elon. So I've been recording him, and he goes live every night at 8 p.m. And it's my new business now. My dad's like, get a job. I'm like, no, I'm just gonna film Elon Musk every day.
Well, here was the funny one, Edmund, is when you were going at it with Prince yesterday or AJ or whatever, I was laughing my ass off.
Funny about the Timu jacket, isn't it?
Yeah. That was great.
It's true. That was a shitty looking like jacket. Like that. I mean, I have shitty Timu type products, clothing products, and honestly, they cut so many corners when they make these jackets. It's unbelievable. I have this one jacket that I bought off of like an Instagram ad. It has no pockets.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Yeah, but making fun of Prince, I mean, it's fun. I can't believe that I was even able to like just scream for like 20 minutes, and just keep screaming.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. Or the Monica impressions, those are hilarious.
Yeah. I like Monica, to tell you the truth.
I like Monica.
Yeah.
I actually don't have any. I don't hold beef with her. She's not. I don't know. She just doesn't bother me. She didn't get under my skin.
She's got a unique, pleasant voice. If there's anything about, I would call it like voice theory or voice sciences or tone, like, I guess you would call it American English or native speaking in terms of speech therapists or speech consultants. Some people are just really annoying. There is a big difference between American English and Australian / UK or British English. I think American English is much more pleasant because
I do like the Australian accents. Those are cool.
I like them too. I have a hard time doing them. Maybe it's because I've never really like listened to them because they never say anything intelligent. So it's been hard for me to really absorb the Australian accent because everything they say is generally just questions. You could listen to Rohan. He loves to do the Socratic dialectic where he thinks that by asking questions he can, evoke his point. Um, God bless Australians, God bless Canadians. They're probably the best people out there. But the thing is, they're hypocrites because they actually enforce immigration in their countries. So I don't know if you've ever been to Australia, but they don't fuck around with immigration. Neither does, you could say
Right.
the UK too, but.
Well, I live in Metro Detroit in Michigan here, and like we're right by the Canadian border. And I can tell you, since COVID happened, when that dipshit finally opened up the border, like that place is overflowing with Ukrainians, the Muslim terrorists, the Somalis, all of them. Like it's a cesspool because his idea was like let everyone in and bring all these refugees, but now it's like backfiring big time because they're not working and they're not getting jobs and just causing problems.
I was at the bar / restaurant by my house the other day, and these men sitting next to me at the bar, they were speaking Spanish. And then they switched into Ukrainian. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, how? These motherfuckers are speaking 3 languages? Like, how many anyways. Yeah. I mean, there's so many illegal aliens in this country. Like, I know they want to get rid of the criminal offenders, but, like, if they're actually going to really enforce the law, there are so many people that would be subjected to arrest, detainment, and deportation that they're already fully functioning in society, and they speak English and Spanish, but they choose to speak in Spanish because that's their native tongue. But like, I don't get the feeling that those people need to be removed because in many ways they're contributing. They're paying rent, they're paying taxes, and maybe they do have citizenship. And that's the thing I was wondering. It's like, Are there going to be, is it like, the moment somebody gets arrested and is a citizen but doesn't speak good English or something, like, wait till you just see all the publicity and press coming out from from the expected deportation effort. People are gonna gaslight the shit out of it. I mean, we should create like fake videos of like Homeland Security making like racist arrests and saying racist things. Just put that on the internet and like, I think the opportunity, if you were a smart comedian, to like create fake content, because a lot of these TikToks and Instagrams and YouTubes, it's all just fake. You know, it's actors, and it takes you a second or two to realize it's not a real clip. Those types of deceptive communications would be a lot of fun to work on, you know, internally. But imagine going externally and creating fake videos. Wow.
Well, here's the thing, Edmund, is a friend of mine owns a construction company. They're home remodeling, whatever, in South Carolina, and he hires illegals. But I don't know how to explain it. Like, one of the guys, like his painter, he has a taxpayer ID number. Okay, so what you can do is file with the IRS to get a taxpayer ID number, right? So that you have your business. He has a legit business. He files with the state, pays taxes, but he doesn't have a social security number because he's illegal. But he has a taxpayer ID number.
Right.
And he talked to his attorney about that. He's like, "How the fuck is this possible? How the hell is it? How can he do that?" He said, "Welcome to America." Because see, the government's against illegal immigration, whatever. But they care more that you pay taxes than they do about your citizenship status.
I know. It's like they'll charge drug dealers for not reporting their illegal gains from the drug transaction. So it's just
it's not the drugs that they give a shit about. It's because they do it for cash. But like, I know how it is. I don't know how it is in Chicago, but most of these contractors, like here in Metro Detroit, like let's say you call an electrician, right? He does some work. And he's like, I normally charge like $250, whatever. But if you make the check personal to me, I'll only charge you $200. Because that's what they're doing.
Yeah, they don't want to pay taxes. I know.
Like the big jobs, like if they do a $10,000 or $15,000 job, of course they can't.
It's any business now. If you pay in cash, every restaurant now is charging you a 4% charge for using your credit card or debit card.
Edmund, I was in Aruba earlier this year. They charge a 7% charge on credit card.
Yeah.
So like, it's the same thing here in Michigan now. Most places are charging like a 2 to 3% charge. I just bought some silver today because I buy a little bit of silver every Black Friday. Just my thing, whatever, 10, 20 ounces. And when I went on like JM Bullion, it gives you a much cheaper price if you just pay ACH or via check. Yeah. To your point, they charge like a 2 or 3% markup if you use credit card now.
Yeah. Did you like Aruba? I liked Aruba.
You know, here's the thing. I did, but I liked Barbados more.
I've never been there. My sister's been there. She liked it.
Here's the thing, Edmund. It's much cheaper to go to Barbados. Like, the whole town of Aruba was like $250 a night, and they fucking lied, and they said it was on the beach. It wasn't. I'd cross the street. I was like, the fuck? I'm like, whatever. But in Barbados, it was like $170 a night, and you literally backed the water. It was a Radisson, so it's pretty decent.
How did you book? How'd you book Expedia, or what did you use?
I use Trivago.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kayak or Trivago usually get the best prices. It's just the thing that sucks is you can't fly Delta there. It's only American Airlines, at least from Metro Detroit or Detroit Metro Airport.
Do you ever go across to the casinos in Canada from Detroit?
Yeah, we used to, like when we were like 19, 20.
Oh, you don't go anymore though?
Every here and there I might go. Like sometimes they have concerts there, so like here's the thing, Edmund, like Detroit, like the downtown, it's safe, but there's sometimes sketchy stuff, but like Canada is so much safer.
Yeah. Yeah. What was I gonna ask you? What was I gonna say? Um, oh, well, there's a casino by me. It's called Rush Street Interactive. Ticker symbol is RSI. Look it up. It's like a $2 billion, $3 billion casino chain. And I saw Tim Dillon perform there, and
Oh, wow.
I recorded the performance. It was very funny. It was on uh, November 8th. I can't remember It's November 5th. It was like right the day before the election, I think.
Okay.
But anyways, I'm just saying that this casino, is top notch and it's publicly traded. It's called Rivers, and
Oh yeah, I've heard of Rivers. Yeah, yeah, they're one of like the bigger chains out there. But like the thing is, Edmund, like a dumbass, when my friend and I went to Chicago, we stayed by Midway Airport because we go, it's cheap.
yeah,
I am never doing that again.
yeah.
Fuck no.
If you come to Chicago, what you do is you just book through Hotel Tonight and you stay in River North or Gold Coast. Gold Coast is the best because there's a strip of bars there where like all the hot young well-to-do people go to, and it's fantastic. I mean, I've staycationed here, and like, it's nice to like staycation in a city that you live in, and then because like pockets of towns, like there's pockets within Chicago where you could say that it's like a social network, like
Yeah.
in neighborhoods, and you will not get exposure to that social network unless you actually become a regular. And
Hey,
yeah,
did they re-elect Beetlejuice there?
no,
That mayor?
we have her retarded son Brandon.
Are you serious? So I saw what happened. If you saw what happened in Michigan, Trump won Michigan, but they elected Alyssa Slotkin for Senate. And I was like, that makes no fucking sense. Slotkin's horrible.
Was she the Democrat?
Yeah, she's just an evil bitch. She is a fucking evil bitch. And our governor's an evil bitch too, Whitmer or Shitmer. She's gonna try to get into DC. You just watch. I would say within the next couple election cycles, because that bitch is done in 2 years here in Michigan, they're gonna try to put her in DC. Biden put in Granholm, who was like one of our worst governors ever, to run the energy department, or I don't even know what.
I hope Trump takes extraordinary efforts, or extraordinarily like dynamic efforts in terms of law enforcement, and he actually makes arrests of U.S. citizens that are not complying with U.S. laws. So he'll use the FBI, the Department of Justice, or the Army itself to make actual arrests of, like, for example, Pritzker here in Illinois. I think that if we could Google it, are there times where the president has arrested governors and things of that nature? Because some of these people they're 100% responsible for directing all activities that are illegal, unconstitutional, financial malfeasance. There's so many ways to go after people, but I think that like Trump needs to make dramatic arrests and really make it into an extremely emotional and precarious environment in the United States, because yeah.
I like that. I also think, Edmund, he's going to run this term differently than he did the first term. Like, I think he learned his lesson about some of the fuck-ups he did in the first one. I think he's going to do things a lot differently.
Part of me thinks that he's not, just because I get the feeling that it's like the whole thing is just the theatrical performance, and that like to make like what I want, is like actual arrests and imprisonment for many people. I just get the feeling like that it will be such a slow, drawn out process because of the due process. But anyways, it'll be very exciting to see what he can get away with, what slows him down, because all these checks and balances really do slow down the process. The thing about arrest and trial is the process is the punishment. The money bankrupts you. Yeah.
Edmund, just look at the OJ trial, how long they dragged that shit on for. And I wonder what he's going to do what's going to happen with the Menendez brothers. Because, I mean, I knew that they had a fucked up, like, childhood and household. I just didn't know it was that fucked up.
Did you see his girlfriend? His girlfriend is hotter than a chick that I can get, and he's like a 50-year-old bald white guy now.
Yeah.
Did you see his girlfriend?
Yeah. Oh, I know. But I remember when that shit happened in the 90s, I was like, all these kids are horrible. Why would they do that? And then I did more research, and I was like, actually, their parents were the fucked up ones. Like, the kids really weren't. Yeah, the kids had some issues, I get it, but it was the parents that fucked them up.
Well, it doesn't matter. One of the commandments, honor thy mother and thy father, so their days may be long in the land. The children can rectify adults if they have that knowledge. But if you're an atheist, insane parent, and you're an abusive, neurotic person, this is why wisdom can help rectify situations. But when you take a cleaver and decide to behead your parents, do you know what the law should have done to these pieces of shit a long time ago? We shouldn't be talking about them. They should be fucking buried right now. And that's it. That's the facts.
Well, Edmund, I do think it's funny you're trolling of the Muslims on the app, too. That is hilarious when you troll the Palestinians and Muslims on here.
I try my best. There's many other good trolls.
I was like, man, I haven't talked to Edmund in forever. I gotta tell him his trolling's 10 out of 10 recently. Because it was always pretty good, but then it got better and better. And I was like, he's really worked on this. I'm proud of him.
Yeah, if I can make Prince emotionally upset, like, that's the win. The win isn't... You see, this is next level psyop, where the win is not being factually or historically more accurate. It's how emotionally upset and gaslit and triggered can I make you because you don't have the control you want. It's an awesome game. This is why, like, I went to the casino yesterday and I was walking around and I saw all these people playing. It's amazing. Everyone is just a drug addict. They sit at the table to get their drug fill. It's boring as fuck, so what they want to do is people watch. They pick their head up to see who's walking by to get that next dopamine. Same thing on this app. People just come on this app every single day. I smoke weed and I drink beer or I drink wine. So I'm getting I'm getting the full fill of the dopamine. Most people on this app are actually sober. And so they're using this app in the same way that I might use cannabis and, alcohol.
Right.
So, but it's the same thing in the casino. The point is, people in the casino don't know they can play the casino games for free and still get the same dopamine feedback, but not give up 40% of every dollar they bet. So they're the biggest suckers because they don't even understand math, just basic arithmetic, not even probabilities. So what you're dealing with is technically like a mass communication marketing endeavor to continue to convince people to come in with giveaways and discounts, and then they fall back into the hypnosis and they just plunge their money into the black hole known as the casino or the temple of hypnosis. But this app is the same thing. This app is just a hypnosis app.
Well, it's funny because, like, in the casinos in Canada, in Windsor, they have, like, some days, like, once a month or something, they do, like, they pick, like, one person to win a prize. And it's kind of like they pick 3 suitcases, right? Once they pick 3, they win the prize. And the prize is either $10,000, $25,000, or $100,000. And I don't know if you know this about Canada, but lottery winnings or, like, gambling winnings or things like that, they're tax-free. So I'm like, that's kind of cool that they do stuff like that. But I mean, whenever you look at a casino and you see that nice real estate, nice, marble floors, all the place all pimped out and nice, you're like, the winners didn't pay for that.
Well, really, technically they're just banks. Everything, all these major corporations, once they fully build it out, they technically just become a financial holding corporation, and the operations.
Yeah, that's all it is. Right.
Look at the people who say, have you ever heard somebody say, I work in corporate or I worked in corporate? Like they're one level above the retail operation. But it's like, truth be told, it's that manager and those floor card people that are making the business work. Your corporate level C-suite job or whatever the fuck it is that you do, you're not actually, anyways, you see the difference? Yeah.
Edmund, I'm a fucking accountant. All I am is I'm a paper pusher. That's all I am.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing more, nothing
But
less.
nonetheless, you're still in the communications industry. You know, my friend is a high-level CPA, and I've listened to his work calls. He is the broadcast to all the other people. He's the one sharing the message. You know, it's unbelievable.
Correct. Yeah, that's all you are at the end of the day. No, I remember, Edmund, you did that room once where you're doing Clubhouse impressions. Those were hilarious when you did the LeBrian one and you did the Jacques one.
Well, I did an impersonation room with Andrew Meyer once where we were making fun of that. What's that bald-headed, dumb fucking mother? No, fuck is his name? He's like a C-level, you know, social media influencer. He says he built out all these businesses. He was super.
Jonathan Bing.
No, not that loser. That is a super loser. This guy's name is I'll think of it. But Andrew Meyer and I were impersonating him, and it is just because he's dumb as a bag of rocks. This guy.
Oh, is it that guy, that CEO guy?
Not Mr. CEO, not that one. He's dumb as a bag of rocks too. But this is another guy. I'll think of his name. It really doesn't matter. There's a million type of people like
Nelson
him.
or whoever.
Not that loser. But you know, so
can you do your Jonathan Bing impression?
You know, like, I guarantee you that guy's got body odor. I fucking guarantee it.
Oh, shit.
He's really, really stupid. I mean, I can't believe that Chatter, you know, I've never actually downloaded it, but it is, like, technically run by really stupid people. But, you know, even their X account, like, it looks like the Salesforce logo. You know, I mean, their branding is terrible, and then they live stream copyrighted material on their platform. So, what is the viability of live streaming UFC fights and talking? It's not. It's not a viable. That's the problem. Like, Clubhouse is unique and special in the sense that it's a very solid It's a very solid program. Like the Paul and fucking what's his name? Anyways, yeah.
I know we're talking about the creators. Yeah, I get it.
It's a very unique telephony app. But again, no advertisements, so they're selling the back-end data to real-time bidders. And but that's the thing, is like the data that this thing generates cannot be useful for commercial advertising online targeting. So it's like there's so much data being bought. Yeah.
Like the people, like I've called out Miki for being a scam artist here that just wants to sell her services, and she claims she's not. And like the old saying is, like if someone like tries to sell you insurance or financial products and they claim they know something about money, if they say they vote Democrat, don't walk away from them, run away from them, because they clearly don't know about money.
Yeah, a lot of them are, you know, retired teachers.
Yeah, that's all they do. Yeah, because they can go work in financial sales. I'm not saying like you can't make money, you can, but it's financial sales.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, my uncle sold insurance, and he would get calls from people trying to sell him mineral rights, oil wells.
Yeah.
And he would say, "Well, listen, that's a great offer, and I'm going to think about it. But have you thought about purchasing a variable indexed annuity to generate security for yourself?" And my uncle's big word was security. How much security do you have in your life right now? How much do you really know that your future is secure? You have a wife, you have children. Like, what is your what is your security plan? And he would just go on and on about insurance and variable annuities and fixed annuities and how you have to have annuities in your portfolio. So
those people are hilarious.
Have you ever tried to collect on an annuity?
Yeah, good luck. Well, here's what's funny, Edmund, is the people that will tell you I have a Series 6 or a Series 7 license and I can sell security. You only need a high school diploma to get one of those. Yeah. It's not a fucking hard exam. That just means you can sell shit. That doesn't mean you know what you're selling. And
I don't know how difficult it is to pass the Series 7 and 63.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's really not that hard of an exam.
I mean, I took a class to study for it, and I got fired from the job before I could even take the Series 7.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's really not that hard of an exam.
I think it's just the options, and then also like the dates. You have to know the dates, which is really stupid in the digital age that they still make you have to know the dates for, yeah.
Well, it's just like the same thing like when I was studying for the CPA exam, understanding like the deduction amounts, because it changes every year.
Mhm.
That doesn't make any sense because it's always indexed whatever for inflation. So saying that you get the standard deduction of like $5,000 this year could be $6,000 next. It's irrelevant. To your point, especially in the digital age, you just go Google it. I mean,
Well, the IRS is like, it's its own private society of employees, and then when you look at the historical, like what are all these people doing? Like when you look at the IRS, rules manual, and you look at how fine the print is, and it's already 1,400 pages. You're like, this is shocking that humans have spent this much time using words to try to describe taxation. Like it's abhorrent. It's abhorrent. It's
a waste of resources. It's a complete waste of resources. Like I talked to one of like the tax directors at my company. He's like looking to retire like early next year.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And he was just telling me, he's like, the way they complicate this tax code is, to your point, a complete waste of resources. And it's actually worse, Edmund, at the state and local levels, because at the federal level, they don't have to balance anything, because when you have a Federal Reserve and you can just print money out of thin air, it doesn't matter, right? But at the state and local levels, like, you have to balance. So, like, that cesspool known as California.
What do you mean they have to balance? They borrow from banks just as much as the federal government does.
Right. Well, they can't run like as high of deficits as the federal government. I guess that's what I'm trying to come to.
But it's a question of the unfunded liabilities, and this is the fucked up thing about accounting, is that because of accounting rules and regulations, they're able to stuff, hide, and essentially non-disclose the true financial projection or the true present financial real picture. It's accounting tricks, and all these rules and shit, they have major implications in terms of earnings releases.
Yeah, because
and compliance.
To your point, Edmund, there are so many ways you can hide this shit. Like, they're like, oh, look at our government. It's, $2 trillion in debt. Who cares? No, but you have to understand, like, yeah, they're 35 trillion in debt or 36 trillion, whatever, but it's the unfunded liabilities. That's like 100, they don't even know, but estimates show it's 150 to 200 trillion dollars. And when you have a fucking Federal Reserve and money that's not backed by anything and just printed out of thin air, it's like that's the most dangerous institution that should cease to exist. But nobody tends to understand that, and you get idiots like Thugga Biden that said that it's a perfectly good organization and necessary. That guy's an idiot too, Edmund.
Yeah, I've destroyed him too, and you could probably go on YouTube and just type in Thugga Biden, and you'll see my videos. I guarantee it. Let me see.
So here's what's funny, Edmund. He told me right before the election, he's like, Kamala Harris is going to win. It's going to be by the biggest, margin ever. And I told him, I said, Thugga, look at the swing states. I'm telling you, these play a big role. And he's like, no, Kamala's going to win every single one of them. And guess what? Trump won every fucking one of them. Honestly, Edmund, I didn't think he was going to win every one of the swing states. I thought he was going to get maybe 5 to 7 of them. But he got every fucking one of them.
My friend, his name is Max, he said that Trump cut a deal prior to the election. And so it does seem in many ways like he was chosen, and that those swing states, because that's the thing, I was so convinced that through Dominion voting systems, they were going to install Kamala for the drunk whore that she is, because she would be better for business than Trump. And plus, everybody fears retribution from Trump. So I just thought for sure that 100%, I thought for sure we would be in this protracted legal battle. And everybody would be claiming voter fraud, and like J6 would happen all over. I thought it was going to be a total repeat, but no. But my friend said he was going to win, that Trump was going to win, that it was all predetermined. And I'm like, I didn't ask him for the specifics, but the point is, like, I'm fucking flummoxed and shocked that Trump actually, won free and clear, despite the fact that there's tremendous voter fraud still out there.
Oh yeah. Well, the thing is that you look at this, all the states that dumb cunt Kamala won, they don't require voter ID.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So I'm like, I knew that she was going to win the People's Republic of California, the People's Republic of Massachusetts, Oregon, Washington, all those communist-run states she was going to win. I was just shocked. Like I said, here in Michigan, I thought it was 50-50, right? I was like, I don't know, man. I think she can win it, but I'm going to tell you something, Edmund. In my subdivision, I'm in Oakland County. It's well off, but they still vote Marxist, which I don't understand. But Metro Detroit's kind of like liberal because they're a union town. So here's what's happened. Here's what got interesting. The Muslim terrorists tend to always vote Democrat. But in this case, when Kamala was married to a Jew and said that she supported Israel, they didn't vote Kamala, but they didn't vote Trump either. They just went independent. And I think that that's what hurt that dumb kind, but who cares?
Yeah, I just, Trump has to be protected at all costs. And I honestly, what's amazing? I can just remember when he announced his, his run for the second time. It looked so bad. He was by himself. He wasn't like happy. Just think about all his family members that said, "Dad, please don't run again. Please don't run." And he's like, I gotta run. They're like, "Dad, don't do this. Come on, Dad. Like, please don't do this again." And he's like, "I'm gonna do it." All the lawsuits keep coming in. He's just like, honey, I gotta do it. Do you know how many times people probably told him in his close circle, like, you might want to rethink this and not do this. But that's the thing, is like, he's a very special person. And I do think that his personality has changed in many ways, that he's not going to be, it's obvious no one is the same person they were for 4 years. You don't have to be the same person you were 10 minutes ago. And so I just really hope that, like, he's way more dynamic this time. And he, instead of like taking in so much communication, he becomes the censor by just writing statements and not even taking questions. Just let all these people burn and just make statements and make executive actions and just push shit downhill. No more questions uphill. It gets pushed downhill, and all these journalists have to shut the fuck up.
The same thing too is, like, you look at the fucking questions that the media gave Trump, right? And then you look at the questions they gave Biden. They're like, "So what's your favorite ice cream flavor?"
Yeah.
And like, they gave him these softball questions, and like, anytime Trump was up there, they tried to destroy him every fucking time. And during Hoax 19, they wanted to see him fail. If they could see him fail, they were happy. And like, another thing that pisses people off, the lefticals on this app, Edmund, be like, "You sound so vaccinated. Don't you have to get another booster?" They get so pissed.
People, I mean, honestly, there's a huge catharsis in the fact that Trump got elected on this app. Because if they were validated...
Edmund, do you ever go to Lisa's 420 lounge? Every day, her, April Floyd, and then they do a room on what they're going to have to do, and they complain about it every day. And I told all them in that room, I was like, dude, I don't know. Like, I don't believe these polling numbers. When he was running against Hillary, they said he was never going to win. Like, the polls are complete shit. If you still believe them, come on. That's like believing COVID-19 data.
Well, the thing is, have you seen the reports about how like Democrats are still counting votes because they're trying to achieve like a little bit of a majority?
They're trying to do a recount.
Well, anyways, I mean, just imagine how bad things would be if it went the other way and all these people on this app were validated in their positions if Kamala won, because they would say the culture has shifted. We are in the majority. We are right. Our opinions are what matter. Like, just imagine how toxic, the toxicity would have even expanded. I heard people on this. I heard this woman on this app yesterday going bananas because this guy said that teaching children about trans ideology should be, illegal and not part of the curriculum in junior high.
Yeah.
And this woman was going insane about how her friends finally had the courage to come out as trans, and they're like 40, 50-year-old men. and she can't listen to your lies because it's insulting to her friends who are courageous. Like, you're talking about incredibly incompetent, brainwashed, demented people that to even expose yourself, and again, I record on here, but to just have conversations as if you're really interested in what these people are saying, or that, and again, they can't even have a polite conversation about the topic. They just go insane and they have an emotional meltdown over the conversation. And it's like, you're so toxic and annoying. Like, I understand why people don't want to talk to you, because you don't know how to listen. And all you want to do is ramble and talk over people so you can expound your propaganda. And it's obvious that people are getting high off of it, but also, it's just extremely corrosive, demoralizing, toxic, low IQ.
Well, you were in that room in Chillism yesterday where I was going off on that girl when I was talking about transgender.
Oh, that was you. That was you. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I was telling her it's not okay to fucking teach 8-year-olds to chop your dick off and be a gay communist. She's like, I live in California and blah, blah, blah. And I had friends that come up, and I'm like, look, I don't fucking care if you're gay or lesbian, right? Whatever. But fucking transgender, that's fucked up.
Well, listen, there's nothing, I don't think there's anything illegal about a man dressing up as a woman, but to teach children about this, it's obviously, it's not part of a curriculum. It's political, cultural indoctrination.
Yeah, and they're teaching like 8-year-olds to go to drag shows. I'm like, I didn't fucking, the first time the first time I found out about transgenders, remember that movie, Crocodile Dundee? Like, when he goes and he tries to find out, they're like, dude, that's a man. He's like, no, it's not. And then he reaches up her skirt and he's like, oh my God. And then he goes back to like Los Angeles later in the movie and he reaches up that person's skirt and he's like, oh, I'm just checking. But that's where I found out about it. But I just didn't think much about it. What did they say, like, the upcoming generation? Like, if you watch, I'm sure you watch Patrick Bet-David, Valuetainment on YouTube, where he was saying, like, the percentage of kids that identify as LGBTQ community, like, this upcoming generation, it's like, what, 25% now?
Yeah. Yeah, it's very high. I'm on the dating apps, and I see a lot of these chicks, they all say they're bisexual. They always have an LGBTQ photo. I'm like, bitch, you're bisexual because you're fat and you can't get dick because you're a fat pig. And so you keep yourself open to women because otherwise, listen, I looked through this chick's Tinder and Hinge one time who was extremely hot, and she was married, and she was involved in swinging and cucking her husband. Her husband was a banker. And the point is, you don't realize it, but hot chicks are talking with other hot chicks in the background, and they're actually, being sexually flirtatious, and many of them do engage in homosexual activity, and so homosexuality amongst women is, rampant. And it's when I found that, anyway, somebody on my YouTube chat is not liking this conversation, and they are writing, "We are not conversing, period. Trump looks absolutely miserable. He doesn't want the job. He wanted the adulation. Trump is miserable. MAGA is miserable. He hated the job in 2016. Now he's miserable. Yins wanted to rail and thought the Dems would care explode, but we don't care. We happy, and all you talk about is misery. So this is, this is them projecting. They think that MAGA is miserable. They think Trump is. It's just the exact opposite. We would have been miserable if Kamala won. Miserable.
Oh God, could you imagine that stupid cunt got in? How badly she would fuck things up.
I'm not even Jewish.
Joe Biden.
I would have moved to Israel if Kamala won. And I'm not even Jewish.
Serious question is between Kamala and Hillary. I thought Hillary was a lot tougher and a lot smarter than Kamala. But I have people on this app that say, no, Kamala is so smart. She is much smarter than Hillary. I thought Hillary was smarter and tougher.
Yeah, Hillary, unfortunately, how do you think Hillary could have defeated Trump? She basically needed...
I don't know.
I think she really needed a nail in the coffin. I don't know. It's a good question. I don't know. Because linguistically, she was losing at every turn. Trump came out like a fucking...
Right.
Like a, 5-time world champion boxer. Like everything he said was just knockout.
But the debates, remember when Trump debated Kamala, and everyone on this app is like, Trump lost the debate, he lost the debate. It doesn't fucking matter, Edmund, because at that point, 95% of the voters already decided. So it didn't matter if you had a debate. People weren't fucking voting for that wretched cunt. So it really wasn't going to change people. You only had 5% maybe undecided. And I think what happened too, Edmund, people voted with their wallets. Because you know damn well, inflation is not fucking 2.5% like the Fed said, and it peaked at 9%. It was if you go to shadowstats.com, it tells you the real rates of inflation based on the numbers they used to measure in the 1970s, right? And it hit almost 20%. But some stupid bitch on this app said, they change how they measure numbers all the time. Yeah. It's perfectly fine. Biden saved inflation.
Oh, these people are so delusional. I mean, they must think their farts don't stink.
I think so. I think so. That's why I like going in the Lisa 420 lounge, but I always get removed because Goats is on there, and I'll always call him Douglas. And I tell him his PhD. He's from Stanford, stands for one thing: poor, helpless, and desperate. Because that guy's a fucking Marxist too, but I actually can't blame him because he isn't a dumb guy. But his thing is, Edmund, he's an academic. He just hides behind a piece of paper, right? He never went out in the real world and got a job or anything. He doesn't know how things work. So he just lives in the Marxist indoctrination camps.
This is a clip of Thugger Biden screaming, "I'm not gay."
Of pants made by this company called Adriano Goldsmith. So their stuff is their stuff can be stylish, but still, can you imagine as much shit goes past on this app to own only one pair of denim? They got a wearing denim. I wear denim all the time. I got a whole denim shirt on. What the fuck? No, I don't tuck my shirts. Oh, yeah, No, when I wear my 8th grade, that's what I wore when I was 14.
So I think the thing is, they're actually not very mature. I mean, they're frivolous.
Nope.
Yeah, they're frivolous.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, the guy's a compulsive liar, Thugger. He, you know what he does? He's a fucking soccer mom that drives a minivan. He's remember that show Married with Children? He's Jefferson Darcy.
Well, the thing is, the app gives him a lot of weight and credibility because he's a smart talking, biracial or whatever that F word, N word is. But that's the thing is, now that the election is over, the catharsis is fully set in. These people are irrelevant, insignificant, and they're just petty little talkers. And They're just loquacious
Yeah.
minis. I mean, the fact that I've recorded them gives me all the satisfaction in the world.
Well, like I said, he's a compulsive liar. He said like his family makes $750,000. He said he was some executive at Pfizer, a pharmaceutical company. He was some like Division I athlete. And I asked him if he played football and his position was left out. And and then he says that he's like 6'4". Women throw themselves at him, and he can bench 300 pounds. Like, it's just hilarious.
But he's gay, and so like
Yeah.
he's definitely a closeted homosexual.
Correct.
And that other guy, Hurricane Otis or whatever. I mean, this is the thing about
Otis.
Yeah, this is the thing about gay men lecturing. I do not accept lecturing from gay men, and also the fact that gay men talk with their gay voices. I mean, I always like to say to gay men, "Let me hear your real voice, not your projected feminized voice." And then they can immediately go back to their normal voice, and then they go right back to their gay voice. So I'm just saying, like,
I know a guy that, like, one of these bars that my friends and I would go to once in a while. Like the bar manager, he was gay, but he talked like you and I, and you really couldn't tell, but he was gay because whatever. But he wasn't like in your face about it, and he talked normal like you and I.
This is the thing about Milo Yiannopoulos. Like, first I thought he was brilliant. He's a fast-talking conservative speaker criticizing the hypocrisy. But then after a while, I realized, I was like, wait a second. Why should I value anything that this F word is saying? Like, he may be accurate, but what is the point of even listening to him? Because he's just spouting common sense. So, I do not take, and I'm not a bigot or, homophobic. I just don't see any value in listening to gay men lecture me. Like, what's that one YouTube guy? He's got a big podcast. He's a very conservative, homosexual, log cabin Republican. But this is the point, is that there is a propaganda within LGBTQ, and this is the crazy thing is, Q is supposed to mean queer, but just go on Meta and type in LGBTQP, put a P at the end of it, and you'll shit yourself, and you'll realize that there is a connection between pederasty and homosexuality in the LGBTQP movement. So there is there is an illegal, very dangerous, sycophant abuse. You cannot be pro LGBTQ because there is a sickness within it, which is a violation of the law. And unfortunately, our culture has degraded so much with LGBTQ that we are so debigotized that I honestly think, and I've always thought this, that we have to bring up the LGBTQ and homosexuality consistently, because there's a pederastic component to it, and it's illegal, and they're not safe to be around because they have sexual tendencies which could basically pervert the law or cause harm to you or your family.
So Edmund, I had to do this corporate training once on gender pronouns, and like one of our fucking VPs or something like that put like she her in her email greeting, and people like they were going around saying we need to put that. I was like, I put my foot down. I'm like, fuck no. Like, what are you doing with this shit? Like, seriously?
She's trying to frame. She's competitively framing. That's what it really is all about.
But you know what though, Edmund? I've noticed too, like a lot of like these women in the workforce that are like the corporate VPs. I'm a boss bitch. I'm a boss bitch. Like, we hired this one like new VP or top person, and like they're all divorced, or the ones that are married. I can tell you, I can guarantee you, their husband are fucking someone else on the side, because like they travel like crazy, they work long hours. Like, there's no way that they're in happy relationships.
Yeah.
Because of this toxic feminine.
Yeah, toxic feminine. Yeah, it's all over the board, and really, there are a lot of good women out there, and that you can readily detect them, after a few interactions, that they're not toxic, abusive people, that they're in happy, successful marriages. They're not out to, they're out to like just be authentic and help. There are
But she was
women. It's very rare though.
Yeah, she was a boss bitch, Edmund. She was a boss bitch. Like, look at like 95% of the plumbers, electricians, framers, carpenters, steel workers. It's like not all men, but it's like, this bitch, I could do that. I love it when Sig goes off on these women on the app. He's just like, sir.
Yeah, his rooms are great for that one reason, and there's other people that have those types of rooms where they got boss bitches come in. Technically, I think every room follows the following like mathematical equation, where Group A brings in one member from Group C. They utilize that, Group C or Group B person like a cat uses a ball. They don't want to kick them out. They don't want them to go. They don't want them to leave, but they need them to create the contrast. And there's basically it's another category, which is boss bitch versus alpha male, and the alpha male, eventually shuts them down. But this is also Sig's problem, is that imagine if he could actually conduct himself without becoming explosive and yelling, but just controlled the communication where you put him in the goo. Like, that's the thing about this app. People are lazy moderators and they want to let people run. I don't know. I'm just, to me, I think every room should be like a classroom where the teacher presents, something from the curriculum. You study it, you discuss it, and then you close the room, you go to your next classroom. So I don't know, that's the problem with this app, is that people are just so neurally networked and dopamine fixed. I don't know, this app is it's retarded. It's just so stupid, but it is such a great diagnostic tool in many ways to find out how psychotic somebody is, how neurotic somebody is, how easily agitated somebody is, and and just get a general understanding of how people interact with other people in the real world, because the way that you talk to people here is 100% the way you talk to people in the real world. There's no difference. You're not going to like be personality A here and personality B in the real world. Like, the way that Uncle Steve talks to people here is the way that Uncle Steve talks to people in the real world, and that's why his ass is divorced. And his kids probably hate him. Because, there is a way about letting people just be who they are, and understanding that you are your own worst enemy, that you yelling and getting angry is not helpful. It hurts you.
What's his face? That arm guy on here, that fucking Marxist. That guy he's dumb, Edmund. That guy is fucking dumb.
Yeah, but when you realize that it's a lot of F words and N words on this app, you'll realize you're not at, some group think tank of like the brightest people that accomplished a lot of stuff in life. You're talking to very stupid people on this app, very low accomplished.
Yeah.
There's some high accomplished, but regardless, a lot of the high accomplished are still retarded. I was in the Bitcoin room. One guy some of them have actually been to, anyways, some people are really well connected to extremely wealthy people. That's one of my criticisms of Elon Musk, is why doesn't Elon Musk just sit back and stop? Like, why? That's it. He doesn't know how. Some people can get rich, but they don't know how to live in style, in luxury, in repose. Right. And then you just rule your empire through bureaucracy. You don't need to work anymore. Right. He's retarded. He lives a minimalistic lifestyle. He comes on X and cooks a fucking steak dinner by himself. By himself. Where's his children? Where's his wives? Nobody wants to deal with him.
Look at Bezos. He built that big empire and retired from Amazon at 58. He's like, fuck it.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Bye-bye.
That's what you do. Yeah. Like,
he knows how to, Bezos knows how to live. His yachts, he knows how to live. That guy really knows how to live well.
But yeah, it is funny though, like listening to like the people in Debate the News or the Millionaire Marathon. Some of the people in there crack me up. But to your point, some of them are well connected. But it was funny when the election night. I'm sure you were on the app when Jonathan Bing was there calling the election. He's like, Trump isn't going to win. He isn't going to win. He's not going to win. He's going to lose all these states. And then all of a sudden, when they got to like the number, he's like, holy shit.
I tried to capture
he was the one. He was the one. Oh, the whole time. He's like, he's never gonna... Oh my God.
I have him on recording talking about how he was accused of rape at some party with Daphne. And he's like, thank God Daphne was there because she made a totally ridiculous accusation against me. Thank God Daphne was there. And so... yeah, he basically sexually assaulted this woman, and Daphne covered for him and said that he didn't sexually. So I would go into the rooms. I would go into his room and just play him admitting that he sexually assaulted this woman who filed a lawsuit against him. That's when you realize you've said too much, and that like sometimes admitting to crimes on social media audio apps, even though it may be cathartic and therapeutic, you probably shouldn't admit to committing crimes on a social audio chat app where hundreds of people are probably listening and possibly recording.
Oh yeah, like I said, like I would laugh my ass off when they'd have all the big debate the newsrooms, and you would come on stage and you would just troll them, and they were like, "Oh, who let the guy? Who let the guy? Boom, boom, down you. We got to troll. We got to troll.
Moderators, come on! I give you the fucking badge. Will you?
I remember one time they modded me in there, and I wanted to get their trust because one time when it got really heated, I was just going to purposely boom the room just to piss them off.
I've said things where I've heard Grant Cardone say, I agree with that guy. At first, I hated Grant Cardone because I just viewed him as like an ebook university, publisher. But like now he's really grown on me because he's not part of the woke bullshit. Yeah.
No, he has grown on me too. It's very, very funny. When I called out Miki like this financial thing, I said PTR your tax return, because here's the thing: if they tell you they're like an investment advisor, whatever, a financial guru, what you have them do is you can find out if they're the real deal. Have them PTR their tax return. Don't look at what they make, but look at how they make their money. So if they earn like, let's say $300,000 a year, and 295 of it is from their like W-2 job or commission, right? And like $5,000 is through like some investment income. They don't practice what they preach, and they're not the real deal, because it should be the opposite. They should be earning more off their own investments. And I called her out on that, and she wouldn't do that.
I was going hardcore at Nelson Apega, Cindy Stumpo, Jonathan Bing. Every time those Million Man Marathon, I was really trying to roast them real good.
Can you do the Cindy impression?
Jonathan, I'm a developer. I have 300 people working under me at any given moment. I've been doing this for 35 years. I don't need to explain to you shit. I'm a self-made millionaire, and I have taken this little Schwartz, Nelson Apega, under my wing, and I taught this little baby boy all my secrets. And Grant is another example.
Like, these people are, I see, this is the thing is that if you're a really naive person, like, you could actually go along with it and say, maybe I should keep listening because maybe I can learn something from these people. But then at the end of it, you get pushed to a landing page to purchase their $349 introductory educational.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you're like,
exactly.
And they actually do, generate revenue. And this is all this, it's the P.T. Barnum thing. Give me $100,000 and I'll tell you the secret to make infinite money. Oh, congratulations. There's a sucker born every minute. That's the secret to success. That is the oldest running Ponzi scheme. Send me 5. Exactly. I'll show you how to make 100. It's just a scam.
Yep. I do think it's funny. The impressions when you do it of some of these people just crack me the fuck up. They really do. when they start going off. Who was another one that was really funny? They hang out and chill as a Concrete. Concrete's hilarious.
He actually
He's such
is
a
very funny.
dipshit.
Yeah. Yeah.
He is so stupid, Edmund. He is so stupid. You're booty clapping. You're booty clapping. Oh, shut your bitch ass. You're just booty clapping here. You're just booty clapping.
Yeah, he's come in my rooms. He's like, "Yo, man, like, why are you filming this? Like, what the he really wants to go into these like lengthy conversations, and then I just rip on him and give him no, points, no verification, no validation, and he just rage quits the room, goes back to chillism, and it's really funny when he's pontificating because he has a Bluetooth in and he goes word to word to word very slowly, so you could tell like. Anyways, it's isn't this app just an amazing example of like the ego or consciousness in general, meaning that like it's like raw essence just projecting all the time a projection.
Right.
Sometimes it's obviously apparent.
But you know who's not on the app anymore? Jacques. I called him out. I call him a Sicilian Arab fuck with a fake accent. And he stopped coming on here. It is broad of the third. I am Jacques. Zionism is different than Judaism.
He was always very paranoid of being recorded by me.
You're Edmund. You're a better man. Get in the kitchen. It's women talking. And you can tell, like, no woman ever paid attention to him in his life. No woman pays attention to him. But that one was funny. What else was another funny room that was always messy? 64th and Nig Cells when they would fight with the Somalis. Those were hilarious. The ones like the Muslims, like I said, when you troll them.
There's this woman, and some of the people on this app have really researched the Quran and Islamic history, and they really know all the most intense gaslighting statements with regards to all the fucked up, surahs and everything. Those rooms are really funny because they you know who Rich is, Oilfield Rich?
Yep.
He's very good at debating Muslims because he knows the most controversial components of the entire religion and history.
Hey, did you know who made it back on the app, Edmund? Alan Dean. I'm Alan Dean.
Hold on. Let me tell you my opinion. I'm a father. I worked in the music recording industry. I'm a father. I worked in the recording industry for 30 years. I know a little something about this. Somebody in my YouTube says, I think that one of your channels was shut down. Yeah. My major YouTube channel, I had 4,500 videos, 1.5 thousand subscribers. It got shut down. They deleted it.
Oh. Yeah, so Alan finally made it back on the app. Who was another one? Oh, you know who one? I just love her accent, and she's a good person too. I really do like her. Is Shay Stallone or whatever? Shay. She has a real soft, easygoing voice. I like her.
The baby
she's
voice.
Nice
That's
person.
the baby voice.
Yeah. Hello, I'm Shay here.
Yeah.
Yes, I love her. She's awesome.
Yeah, she's a special person.
Yeah, I like her. And you know who I don't see as much, but I like him a lot too? Mr. Edward Lynn or whatever.
Oh, he's fantastic. I heard him on X a couple weeks ago. I was like, oh my God, I know that voice.
I met him actually in person. I went down to Huntington Beach when I first got on this app in like 2022. I was going on vacation. He's like, yeah, I live out there. I go for a walk every day. I'm like, are you serious? I'll meet you one morning before I go, hang out with my friend for the day.
Mm-hmm.
And I met him for like a little bit, half hour, and we walked up the one there on Pacific Coast Highway for a little bit. Super super good guy.
Yeah.
I really like him. Really great guy.
That's the funniest thing about African Americans is there are some really well-educated spiritual African Americans who are not woke, and they throw the biggest wrench in the conversation when you find out that is like a Bible thumping black who is not going to put up with your bullshit, and they really know the information. Like, that is when shit gets awesome.
And you know what? He does, like, you know, charity work, and he told me about a charity that does, and I gave some money to it. Like, it's like $50 or something. I was like, yeah, I'll go donate some money. I think it's a good cause. I've met Sig on the app. Sig lives right by me, and same thing with KP. And those are cool dudes, too. Yeah. Really fucking cool dudes.
KP's very funny.
Yeah, they're good guys. Like, people don't...
Come on into the liquor store.
But yeah, it is funny though. Like Mr. Edward, how he's like way different than the rest of them on the app, and they're like, "Wait, you're black and you vote Republican and you have strong morals and values? That's not allowed."
Yeah, it's great because he could talk to Otis, Hurricane or whatever, and it would just drive him crazy because he's the antithesis of what Otis is. I mean, anyways, these people are just so superficial. They're very narcissistic. They're pseudo intellectuals, and they're propagandists. They know they're full of shit, and the thing is, they lost. They have not been validated, and it's just wonderful because it's every day is a revalidation of the fact that they were wrong. And I've recorded them for many years, building up the zit moment, and finally the zit has popped, and it turns out they're the pus. They're the pus.
I want to see the one though where Jonathan Bing. I'd love to hear that one where he kept saying that Trump will not win. Trump will not win. And I try to tell people in Debate the News like how bad the economy is. Like seriously, I mean, we've had record people take money from 401ks or IRAs out of hardship withdrawals. Record credit card debt, and Miki and them and all these idiots, the Mikis, the Jonathan Bings, the Aram says it didn't mean anything. Trump's not going to win. I'm like, no, I'm telling you, the economy is not good. The fucking Federal Reserve lies about numbers. They lie about inflation numbers. They lie about unemployment numbers. And I wish I had that recording. I'm like, yeah, I told you. Or the Thugga thing when he told me that Trump was going to lose every single swing state.
Yeah, layoffs.
And he won.
Layoffs are not in the consciousness of a lot of these people, but if you look at the layoffs at big tech, Google, Facebook, Microsoft, and 10 others, like it's massive. You're talking about maybe 1 million people.
Edmund, I'm in Metro Detroit, so our biggest industry is automotive.
Yeah.
And I work in the automotive industry. People don't buy cars. We're fucked in Michigan. Like in 2009, when that bad recession hit, we had all these foreclosures. And all of us, even my brother works in automotive. He was telling me they're cutting back on expenses. They're conserving cash big time right now because of, to your point, there's a lot of uncertainty now. A lot of uncertainty. And
the thing is, Kamala would have been better for the economy because she would have let debt expand, and everyone would keep living the illusion that debt doesn't have repercussions and that it's not successive. Anyways, do you know how many parking lots are full of newly minted manufactured cars that will never get sold? I could. Within walking distance, I can show you countless numbers of Jeeps just sitting on the lot that will never get sold because they're so expensive.
Edmund, they're sitting. I was at a presentation at work, and I was one of them. I think it was Chrysler or Stellantis now. They're sitting on 120 days of inventory. Even the Japanese are sitting on 50, 60 days. And the Japanese style, they don't sit on a lot of inventory, right? It's just their just in time, all that shit. They're that's just their culture. They just don't sit on a lot of inventory. And to your point, when they're sitting on this much, that doesn't mean things are booming. That means you have problems. And I always said that on Debate the News, and they would always fucking move me down to the goo and say I'm full of shit. But I'm I wonder what they're saying now.
Well, listen, Jay Breska, masculinity mindset, masculinity mansion, Jay, aka the former pimp.
Yep.
I have him on recording saying, I had to vote for Kamala. I had to think about my granddaughters. And then after Trump wins, he goes, "It's a new day in America. I am so glad that Trump won." It's like, bitch, you. And then he's saying, "I say we get rid of the tampons in the bathrooms." It's like, bitch, you voted for tampon Tim, bitch. How the fuck? See, this is just the nature of human beings.
That's what hurt Kamala. Edmund, I'm telling you, that's what hurt Kamala. Tim Walz was such a fucking dud. Like, I thought Palin was an idiot. Like, I'll admit Palin was an idiot.
Yeah.
And Kamala was an idiot for a VP, but Tampon Tim was much worse. Much worse.
It was the worst decision ever. But see, he was part of the LGBTQ cult, and he destroyed Minnesota. Yep. Everybody in Minnesota hates his guts.
Dude, yeah, oh hell yeah. He fucked that state up.
He's a pedophile on top of it all. And this is the whole thing, is it's all tied in with Diddy. there is a subversive network of, Diddy is definitely a Black Epstein, and Tim Walz, with all of his bullshit with his China trips and bringing these young boys to China on 30 fucking trips. He's a pedo, dude. He's got sugar in the tank. He is a pedo.
But no, hey, good talk with you. I gotta drop off because I gotta run to the stores and do some shopping. But good catching up with you.
Okay, talk to you soon.
All right, bye.
Okay, Joy, I'll talk to you soon.
It is a lot. Anyway, no, like the shekels would only make sense if I would, like, I don't know, for some reason thinking like Israel got 22.
The
only currency I have is shekel. But not a lot.
So you have
300. Well, I have, like, in the house, I'm like maybe a few $100s of cash, just because, of U.S. dollars, because I live here. But I don't save money. And currency is a terrible investment. But I have a few hundred, like 350 shekel, because when I go back, I just want to have cash with me when I get there to the airport. Not a lot of shit. There's no point in keeping a lot.
Yeah, it's not for investment purposes, having cash.
Right. That's why I only have shekel. It's the only country I plan on visiting. I don't know exactly why.
Okay, Daniel. We got your point.
Yeah.
Slowly.
Sorry. Trying to buy a new mobile contract. I found out.
You said you already had a good deal.
No, you had a better deal.
Better, like for my German number, 50 gigabyte per month for $9.99.
I know.
Okay.
Flat SMS, flat phones, flat EU roaming, and monthly cancellation.
Why don't you just use internet telephone? Shit, just use Clubhouse.
Yeah, but I need internet.
Yeah, not
when I go outside.
Data.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm not always home.
Well, you just stay home all the time and use Wi-Fi.
Exactly.
Daniel, how much would that cost you, theoretically speaking, if you switch over to like eSIM, like an app?
That's a good question. I'm not sure my phone. I need to buy a new phone for this.
I'd like to address the title of the room.
Go ahead.
Wait, what is the title of the room?
No,
So
that thing, yeah.
I think, like, you know, regardless of the names of the participants in the conflict, you know, you could basically do like a mathematical equation or some type of a psychological um, analysis where it would be universal, you know, globally, that there has to be some type of underlying psychological principles which would be universal, theoretically speaking. You know, and when you use this app, if you were to use this app as a diagnostic tool, I think you would see that it's like it takes two to tango. That there's also like a neurotransmitter, drug feedback loop happening with pro pally people.
And this is too many words. I'm getting confused.
Well, this is the problem with what they do is it's a words game, and the point is they never talk about anything important in terms of personal improvement, personal responsibility, um, being immature, being irascible. What I'm just saying is that people are not academic, they're not collegiate, and they're mostly propagandists, and they view their propaganda as being some type of a financial instrument for future security, meaning they think that they're creating content, and that being a resistor or a truth teller, it's like a moral virtue signaling process of self validation. But they spend no time actually researching who they are or their real self identity because they're basically atheists, or they are perverted Muslims. There's just so many ways to look at it. But I'm just saying, if you could create some type of a construct where it's not what's wrong with Palestinian supporters, it's wrong. What is wrong with anyone that is a supporter? I guess you could say. I mean, I'm just saying there has to be a universal diagnostic where you could, transcend all of the conflict throughout the world. I mean, it's just there are. Anyways, I think I've expressed it enough.
No, I'm kidding. Interesting angle, Joey. Rob, you want to say something? Is that why you're waving?
I want to ask Linda a question just for 10 seconds. I was blocked from this room before earlier, and now I came in and Linda came in after me. So I just want to ask Linda if there's a possibility that she is blocking me or not.
I don't block anybody. But by the way, Daniel, so as I promised, I went to see that video. It wasn't their funniest, but I did watch it.
It's not the funniest. It was the latest.
Yeah.
Yochanan, why did you unfriend me?
I unfriended many people. I have a limit of how many people I can follow. They don't let me follow many people on the app. But what I do is that I follow houses. So if you have a house, I follow your house. You know what I mean? Do you have any?
Wait, I have a question. How do you unfriend someone?
No, unfriend means that. So when you do add someone, you do add or add. But I do follow houses instead of people. So if you have a house, I follow your house. Like
it sounds so funny coming from the Jew.
What is so funny?
No, it's just a joke. You know what they say? Oh, you came and took our homes.
I don't get the joke. So please explain.
Okay,
I don't want to be missed of the.
Okay, so a lot of pro-Pallies, they say that the Palestinians invited the Jews into their homes and they were kicked out of their homes.
Oh, now I get it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It's a bad joke. Oh, it's a good one? Okay, thank you. Anyway, does anyone want to address what Joy was saying?
I think he was very succinct.
Good what?
Everything he said, he was on point.
think there was one thing I wanted to ask him about, but I can't remember that.
I think the one thing you will not hear out of pro-pally people is the concept of love and joy, or eternal love and joy, or infinity. I mean, there's just so many things they don't talk about, which are so important, which is really why they're doing what they're doing. Because, if you read the book Tanya by the Alter Rebbe, and Meyer, I think, has heard me read it a few times, it really emphasizes kindness and love. And you do not hear that from them. They're very, very angry people, easily agitated, uncompromising, unwilling to listen a lot of the time. So they just don't practice what they supposedly preach. They're hypocrites. I think they're liars and frauds and propagandists. That's what I think about them.
But you need to remember that they're the religion of peace.
Well, if that was true, then they would use source examples from the religion, because I do understand that they think they're actually in the right, and that their religion is the religion of peace and harmony and joy, and all these other religions are the ones causing the conflicts. That's their perspective. But the truth is, if that was true, put it in the chat. Let's see the links, or cite the material, or at least be happy and joyful.
Yep. That was the point.
You can't tell them that. They'll kill you.
Off of your head, exactly.
Well, it's